Hello and welcome to Blackpool for the World 8-Ball Pool Championships. Teams and players from across the globe have come to the Imperial Hotel to showcase their talent and in the process try for a shot at the world titles on offer. 2 weeks of action-packed pool saw England take on Ireland in the men's team tournament, and it went down to the wire with the Lions winning the deciding frame 8-7. The women's singles title was taken by Northern Ireland's Emma Cunningham, who defeated England's Barbara Taylor, Cunningham making it world title number 2 in the process. Coming up on this week's show, Steve Daking will show us a trick shot that you can wow your mates with. And our main focus is the men's individual final, as England's Craig Waddingham takes on Tom Cousins from Wales. Now, these World Championships are not the only event on the international calendar for 8-ball pool players. The British Lions also go on tour, and this year they look forward to a trip down under. Here's Joe Fanto to tell us more.
We had the British Lions in Australia in 2011, and we're looking forward to them at the end of this year as well with our national titles. There's going to be a British Lion Test Series, and of course it'll be in Perth this year, which is where it all started, where the world body got together with 3 countries. So that's very appropriate that the British Lions Test Series will be there this year. Just to see them walk in at that opening ceremony in their blazers, in their uniforms, in their national colours and their vests, to their national anthems, it is absolutely brilliant.
So then, down to the business of deciding this year's men's singles champion. First into the TV arena is England's Craig Waddingham. Semi-finalist back in 2010, the Scunthorpe-based player has brought some noisy fans along with him, and it would mean the world to him if he could take the title.
Well, it'd be massive, massive. Biggest point of my career would be definitely, without a shadow of a doubt. And when you're in there, you just play the table. You don't play the player. You try to block everything out. The kids, the people. You just get down to the table.
Wales's Tom Cousins is up next. He's been in scintillating form heading into this final, beating England's Rob Warne in the semi 8-4. Last seen in the TV arena in 2012 with Team Wales. This time he's in on his own.
I do like the team event, and everyone gets like noisy and that. But I also like to play in the singles just because it's just me, and it's not so much pressure as well. If I won the world title, that would mean a lot to me.
The lag will decide who breaks first in this World Championship final. And that could not be closer. Tom looks like he's edged it. And referee Richard Rhodes agrees, so Tom will get us underway. It's Cousins versus Waddingham in what will be the most important game of their lives. Your commentators to guide us through the final are Keith Brewer and Dave Hendon.
Great excitement, great anticipation here in Blackpool for the start of the World Championship final. Tom Cousins against Craig Waddingham. Cousins to get us underway in frame 1. Yes, there'll be a great atmosphere as well, I'm sure. These two pretty evenly matched. Keith Brewer alongside me for the final. Big day, Keith, for both of these men.
Massive. Absolutely massive. You know, it's what we all dream of. All the top players want to be here in this particular match. It's a mouth-watering matchup, really, the way these two guys play their game. And, you know, watching a game like this, you kind of hope that both players bring their A games to the table, because it should be an absolute cracker if they do. As I always say, the first frame I always think is huge in these games, and a dry break from Tom gives Craig the first go at the table.
Yes, Craig.
And I just think that no matter where the balls are, pretty much the guys are going to go for their finishes at every opportunity.
Well, Craig Waddingham about to become a father for the second time, so it would be a memorable couple of weeks for him if he could win today.
30 seconds.
I always think these finishes are kind of like mind your work finishes, because the balls are there, but you've still got to take them out. You've still got to play all the right shots. It's cue ball control of the highest caliber.
30 seconds.
Go on, mate.
Don't think it's ideal. I think he played for the cannon there. The cue balls carried on through. So it looks like we're on plan B now. Always a dangerous thing though, playing cannons when you don't really need to, especially from distance like that, where you haven't got 100% cue ball control. It's not a control cannon, it's more like an anticipated guess cannon, and that's why you lose the cue ball. A half decent recovery pot there. Of course he's left himself the long red down into the bottom left hand pocket. Can play this at a reasonable pace because he will be on the last red into the middle. So this will give us an indication to how well Craig's queuing up.
30 seconds.
Very nice. Played it with a bit of drag inside there. Very well controlled.
Well, this is really making a statement, isn't it? If he can win this frame in one visit, what a way to start the final. Well, it's a dream start, this. There'll be nerves, I'm sure, but this should settle Craig Waddingham down. Just a cracking start from the Scunthorpe man. He leads 1-0.
A great start for Craig Waddingham as we now move into frame 2, and it was the Englishman to break. Somehow nothing dropped for him on his opening shot, so it was over to Tom Cousins, who had a choice of colours. Now, nerves can do funny things when you're on the big stage. Cousins had potted a red and a yellow, so it's technically still an open table. However, the Welshman did not nominate a ball on his next shot, and it was therefore called a foul. Craig cleared all but one of his reds and had run out of position, making his next shot very tricky. And that meant Tom was handed a lifeline he did not expect. He made up for his schoolboy error, and he drew the match level, 1 frame apiece. On to frame 3, and it was Cousins' turn not to find anything off the break. Waddingham jumped out of his seat to take on the table and to prove to Tom just how important the break is, as he did not let him have another chance. Through the colours and finishing with a double on the 8 ball. Impressive stuff for the final as his fans went wild. Craig then is in the lead, 2 frames to 1. Let's get back to your commentators, Keith Brewer and Dave Hendon, for the start of frame 4.
So Waddingham back in front in fine style. This is frame 4. Both players getting plenty of support from their respective friends and family and supporters here in the arena.
As I've said before, the break is such a huge weapon these days, and you just cannot afford to come up dry on them. And although the balls are a little bit clustered here and there, you know, you've still given up the table to your opponent. So disappointment for Craig, but a lot of work to be done yet. So very good opening shot there, developing one of the bad reds. Still got a bit of work to do on the left hand side of the table.
30 seconds.
So then a good opportunity for Tom Cousins to level things up here in frame 4. Join us after the break to find out if he can, right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to the World 8-Ball Pool Championships from Blackpool. Let's get to your commentators, Keith Brewer and Dave Hendon.
Tom Cousins is only 24, but he's been playing pool a long time. When he was 15, he won the World Junior title. He also won the European Under-18 Championship. So he's got a lot of pool under his belt already, but of course this today, if he could win, would be a career highlight.
So Dave, you won't see many better shots than this. Didn't get quite as he wanted on this red, but was able to impart enough top spin to bring the cue ball through the balls and disturb the yellow. An absolutely perfect shot.
Yes, he couldn't have played it any better, and providing he now takes advantage, what a confidence booster that is. Great skill from Tom Cousins.
Just deciding which order he wants to take these reds out in, as the black does pot into a few pockets. It looks to me like he may have decided to play the black in the middle, so elected to go this route. Sometimes when you've got a few options, it's worth just standing back, working out which route you're going to go before you actually pot your first ball. I've seen so many players play an in-between shot. I think he's deliberately played to leave this angle. He can drop it for it in the middle now if he wants to, and that's just about perfect.
Well, it's been a great effort, this. It's a great start to the final, high quality from both players. And Tom Cousins has drawn level at 2-2.
So all square in this championship game as we follow the action into frame 5. A super break from Tom Cousins, putting down 2 red balls, and this frame was another example of just how important that opening shot is. The Welshman worked his way through the rest of the red balls and finished on the 8 to give himself a lead for the first time in this match, 3 frames to 2. Into frame 6, and Craig Waddingham didn't pot anything off the break, so it was over to Tom, who was starting to find his groove. He was in no mood to give Craig another chance and polished off the reds and 8-ball to stretch his lead by 2 frames. Frame 7, and Craig did not want the match to get away from him, but would Tom give him an opportunity? Well, indeed he did. He didn't mean for it to happen, but sometimes that's the way things go. Craig was eager to get to the table and he worked himself through the reds, but with a lot of congestion in the bottom right corner, he made hard work of clearing the balls, in the end having to play it safe and cover the pocket. But he didn't cover it well enough, and Tom found a way through his defences, finishing off on the 8-ball. The Welsh Dragon marking up another frame on the board, and he now leads this championship match 5 frames to 2. Frame 8, and Craig responded the only way he knew how. by getting started with a decent break and working his way through the red balls. Leaving himself a simple 8-ball to claw back an important frame. The match stands at 5 frames to 3, and that seems like a good opportunity to take a breather from the action and catch up with world trick shot champion Steve Dakin for his latest offering of trick shot magic. It's masterclass time.
This is a situation that's unlikely to come up in a game. There's a triangle on the table for a start, and the balls are arranged somewhat unusually. What I'm going to try and do is pot the red ball and the yellow ball, but the trick with this is that the yellow ball goes in first and then the red ball follows it behind. And it should work something like this. And if you play that shot and tell them that I told you it wasn't a foul, you'll be okay.
Thanks, Steve. I'm not sure we'll see anyone get away with that at these World Championships, though. We rejoin the action in frame 9 and Craig is at the table, although Tom only has 1 red ball remaining. Let's get back to your commentators.
A couple of yellows are on the other side cushions, but they're not particularly difficult, especially when you're leaving the cue ball as he is on this occasion. Very nice indeed. The way he's been sizing these 2 yellows up near the black spot, I think he's looking at popping them into the bottom right hand pocket as we look. I'm not sure if they pass the black. So that's the way he's been shaping up for them. So this is an important positional shot coming up. To make these shots easy, you need to get this cue ball right.
Well, it couldn't have been more wrong, could it, in the end?
Time running.
So frustrating for Craig Waddingham.
Well, this is going back to what I said before, though, Dave. He didn't have to go game here. You know, there were still a couple of key positional shots that he needed to get correct. Why do it when he had such an easy safety option available? I know it's easier to say now, but I did say straight away he did have options. That's a very nice shot there from Tom, just a set-up shot to start with.
So his second chance to win this frame and to get his 3-frame lead restored. Grateful it's come along, might not have done. But he finishes off the frame and he's 3 clear again. Tom Cousins leads the final 6-3.
So it's back to a 3-frame advantage for Tom Cousins as we see what happened in frame 10. Craig Waddingham broke but did not find the pockets with any balls, and with the spread on the table the frame quickly developed into a defensive one. The breakthrough eventually coming when Tom Cousins fluked his long-range effort and quickly apologised to his opponent. But when it's a World Championship final, you'll take anything that comes your way. With some tricky balls remaining on the table, there was still a lot of work to do to win the frame, and Tom's attempt at developing the yellows on the side cushion did not go the way he would have liked. Therefore, he had to play safe and cover the pocket. It wasn't effective enough to stop Craig though, and he finished off his reds and the 8-ball to take the frame. It's now Cousins 6, Waddingham 4. Frame 11 and it was Tom Cousins to break. He got us underway with a great spread on the balls, but the 8-ball went down, and I know what you're thinking, frame over. Not in 8-ball pool, the balls were re-racked and he got another opportunity, and he took it, and he took the frame too. Back once again to a 3-frame lead, he now leads 7-4.
Yeah!
Frame 12 and it was Waddingham to break. Going in off was not the start he wanted though, and it handed the table to Cousins. A rare error though from Tom saw Craig handed a lifeline. But when trying to get position with the cue ball, Craig potted one of Tom's reds. And that was all that Tom needed, and he saw off the frame. He now leads 8-4 as we move into frame 13. A good opening shot from Tom Cousins saw him pot a red and what looked like a good spread on the balls to clear the table. But with a bad positional shot, he was forced into a double which he missed. Not the easiest of opportunities for Craig to navigate his way through, but he managed to do that despite the 8-ball rattling around the bottom corner before it dropped. So a missed opportunity for Tom, but Craig needs every chance he gets, and it's now 8 frames to 5. Frame 14, and there was a look of steely determination on Craig Waddingham's face. And he just proved the match isn't over, not by a long shot. Craig working his way through all the yellows and the 8-ball to claw it back to only a 2-frame deficit. 8 frames to 6 then, and we'll find out after the break if Craig can level things up in this first to 11 contest, right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to Blackpool for the World 8-Ball Pool Championships. We're in frame 15 with Cousins leading Waddingham 8-6. We join the match with Tom at the table on the reds, and it's back to your commentators, Keith Brewer and Dave Hendon.
2 frames in it then. Tom Cousins still in front here, 8-6. He needs 3, Waddingham needs 5 to become world champion.
That's pretty good.
So far in this final, every time Waddingham has just put him under a bit of pressure, made the scoreline closer. Tom Cousins has responded. That's what he's trying to do again here. Remember, if he wins this frame, he only needs 2 more to become champion. So big moments in the match here.
Now, I don't know if he's had a bad contact there with the cue ball or not. He's not asking for it to be cleaned. It certainly seemed to jump as he played the shot. What he was trying to do was screw that back off the side cushion with side and get straight on this red, and of course now he's the wrong side of it, so getting on the black's a lot more difficult than what he wanted. Not sure if he can just roll this in and have a shot or not. It doesn't look like that's the case. Well, he's took a bit of a chance there, to be honest. Has he got a shot on this or not? When he's potted the red into the middle there, he's meant to miss that yellow, obviously. Come off the bottom cushion, and the side would have brought the cue ball back round for the black. But now, not sure if this cuts in, not sure if it doubles.
30 seconds.
Gone for the double, made sure he left a good cue ball there, Dave, so he's not made it too easy for Craig.
That's right, but you heard Waddingham supporters there, they're delighted that he's just coming back to the table. Both players, it has to be said, getting great support from their respective camps.
Well, that's a decent opening shot from Craig, because the cue ball was very close to the cushion there, making the shot a lot more difficult. I just think he's relieved to get back to the table, probably knows he shouldn't have. And sometimes when you do get a chance that you shouldn't have, you like to make the most of it. That's another good pot. Just can't seem to get in perfect position on any of these shots. Well, that seems to be the hardest bit done, Dave. I think we're looking at another frame back here for Craig.
Yeah, an unexpected chance for him. Supporters willing in every ball. What an exciting final we have now. You can see the determination on his face as he rolls the black in. There's only one in it. Craig Waddingham wins frame 15. He trails only 8-7.
What a great comeback that is by Craig Waddingham as they now move into the 16th frame. It was Craig to break, but unfortunately for him, it ended up a dry one. Tom was back at the table and looking to put a halt to Craig's run. He opted for yellows and was making good steady progress until he misjudged one into the corner pocket. However, Craig didn't capitalise and made a mistake when trying to play defensively. That was all Tom needed and he finished off the remaining balls. Waiting that little bit longer though over the 8-ball, it was visible the pressure he was feeling in that frame had lifted off his shoulders, and this final was shaping up to be a classic as they headed into frame 17. Cousins opened things up, but nothing came of the break. So Waddingham was at the table going for yellows. It wasn't as straightforward as he'd hoped though, and he opted to defend the corner pocket to stop Tom from clearing up. Waddingham got himself a chance on the 8-ball, and if that had dropped, he'd have got to within one frame of Cousins. It was a costly miss, as Tom cleared up to go 3 frames in front. Frame 18, and Craig Waddingham was under huge pressure. Any mistake would mean the end of his tournament. Luckily for him, there were no mistakes. Waddingham clearing the table to take a frame back. Craig clearly believes he can still win it, and so do his loyal fans. Tom Cousins, though, is still just 1 frame away from winning this final, so it's all to play for. We rejoin the action in frame 19. Cousins is at the table on yellows, a chance for the title. Let's get back to your commentators.
So it was 10-7. It's now 10-8 to Tom Cousins. He still needs one for victory. Craig Waddingham still playing catch-up.
Well, there's a big shot needed now, because this yellow up the table doesn't have many pockets to pot in, so this is a big shot coming up. Well, good cueing, first of all, that's what I would say there, and he's actually caught hold of that cue ball really well. In fact, he's caught hold of it too well, the reaction he's got.
So it's come down to this black then. This is for victory. Great effort so far. Could have gone wrong in this frame. He's kept on going. One more ball needed.
Good pot in the middle, but he's just a little bit unlucky to finish here. But could have been worse, of course. The cue ball could have finished behind the red.
Well, it's the biggest shot of his life. Simple as that. This black to become world champion for the first time. Well, he didn't get close, really.
To be honest, I'm not that surprised that he's missed the pot. There was a lot of pressure on it, but I'm just a little bit surprised he was actually so far out with it. He's like cued it straight, really. Well, what a lifeline for Craig. He's got the chance, but he's still got to take it. There must be so much pressure.
30 seconds.
But at least this is in his hands. It's up to him. He could do nothing there watching in his seat as Tom Cousins lined up that black. But Waddingham at the table now, trying to get within one frame. Remember, he trailed 10-7. If he clears up here, it's 10-9.
He's already picked off his route. 4 balls in the black, and he knows every order. Positional wise, this is probably the hardest shot left. Wants to hold for the one in the middle now. Well, he's actually gone a little bit further over to the cushion than what he wanted. So now he's cutting this back into the middle. It's like a blind shot.
Well, as we've seen, he's a pretty expressive character, Craig Waddingham. I'm sure if he pots these two now, we'll see a little reaction from him, because he could so easily have lost this final a couple of minutes ago. But this black, and we'll have at least one more frame. It's a great escape from Craig Waddingham. Tom Cousins had the black to win, but Waddingham clears up and he trails 10-9.
What a final this is turning out to be. Craig's pumped, so are his fans. Can he take it to a decider? Find out what happens after the break, right here on Sky Sports. Welcome back to the World 8-Ball Pool Championships here in Blackpool in what is proving to be an epic final between Cousins and Waddingham. Let's head straight to your commentators, Keith Brewer and Dave Hendon.
Well, what drama we have here in this World Final. It's thrilling stuff. Craig Waddingham now looking to take us all the way. He trailed 10-7, it's now just 10-9. Tom Cousins has got to try and put out of his mind the fact that he's had a shot to win. It wasn't an easy pot, but he didn't get too close to it. But that was the last frame. He's got to focus now on this one and this visit.
Well, another great chance for Tom here.
30 seconds.
No real clusters on the table, so he's got every opportunity to finish this time. Decided that Reds look that little bit better. One of them breaks where all the balls are nicely placed. But it seems more about the pressure of the situation, of course, now. Just hold yourself together. And once again, if you just take a look at the Reds, they are beautiful. He'll be working out now the route to victory. When all the balls are so easy, it's still a matter of picking them off in the right order. And then, of course, the black doesn't pot into the bottom left pocket, so he'll be choosing his way round to finish on that black.
Well, one thing's for sure, he doesn't want a decider. He'd like to win it here. He's had a chance already. That's gone, but he's got another one.
Now then, where's this cue ball going to finish? And do you believe it? Incredible. Not sure if he's actually got into that too much or not enough. I'm not sure which middle he was playing for. He's playing for one of the middle pockets there. But that is a very careless shot indeed, really. All the other reds are at his mercy. And he's left himself no real shot here. The problem is, if you take a quick look at all the yellows, they're all very nicely placed. And that's a great pot from there. It really is a wonderful shot. He had no idea where the cue ball was going, Dave, so he's relying on a bit of luck. And although it was a great pot, he's come out about just as bad as what he can.
Yeah, you could see that, couldn't you, from his reaction? He's just thinking, why couldn't I have been on one of these reds? It's been an ordeal, this final. If he wins it, he'll look back on it with fondness, but of course the other side of that coin, if he loses it, he'll look back at the missed opportunities.
Well, was forced into going for the double, and it hasn't happened. Incredibly, Craig is going to be back at the table on the yellows with a chance to take it to a deciding frame.
Craig Waddingham sensing blood again. He works in his day job in a betting shop, and it's fair to say the odds on him winning this title were pretty long at 10-7, but they've shortened and shortened over the last few frames.
Well, that was the hardest ball left that he's just potted. But of course, when the pressure's on like this, every ball becomes very difficult indeed. I think the only problem here is these two balls in the baulk end. After he pots this one, if he can just get good position here, and that's the hardest work done. Nicely on this yellow, nice angle as well. I think he would have preferred a little bit more angle on this yellow, so it would have been a natural shot for it to come down table. That's pretty good.
What an effort it's been from this man. Back to the wall, but every time he's come out fighting. This black then for a decider. Going all the way. What a great comeback from 10-7 down. One more frame to decide it. It's 10-all.
This is it then. World Championship glory for either man is just one frame away, and we move straight into the final frame with everything to play for. 10 apiece, winner takes all. Back to your commentators, Keith Brewer and Dave Hendon.
One more frame to decide it then. The World Championship has come down to this decider. How must Tom Cousins be feeling? He was 10-7 up. It's now 10-all. It's Tom Cousins, though, to break. Has there ever been a more important break for him than this one?
Time running.
That's a great break, but can you believe it? The black's gone in, he's got the most gorgeous break, but unfortunately that means it is now a re-rack. Now just watch the black ball from this break. Keep your eye on it, this is quite incredible. He's had the most gorgeous break.
Well, just when you think you've seen everything, and this is a decider, remember, incredible.
No penalty. Time
So he's got to go again. Or at least something went down second time of asking.
Well, this is actually a better break than the first one, so he's had a big of a result here.
But it's just adding to the drama, isn't it? It's adding to the tension, and there's already plenty of that.
Well, he'll be going reds, and the only real problem I can see is the black. All Tom's got to do now is mind his work, keep that cue ball under perfect control, and it will all be about the black.
We've been here before, though, haven't we? It was 10-7. He had chances to win. But here we are at 10 each. Can't afford any more mistakes.
Well, I'm sure he's already thinking about how do I get on it. I mean, maybe you can get past the yellow to pot the black along the cushion. If that's the case, then it actually isn't that hard. It just looks from here that that may not be the case. And there we go, he's moved the yellow away. Took the chance early. He's still in a very strong position because he knew he was going to be on this red over the middle pocket. But he's already thrown away a couple of chances in the last few frames. I think it's all about this shot now. Get this one right and you've won. It's not perfect, Dave. I can tell you this, he's not gone through quite enough. No heroics there, just roll the ball in. The fact that he's left distance doesn't seem to bother him here. He knows he can just play this with a bit of drag and he'll be perfect on the black.
His supporters there going through absolute agony watching on. But that agony might be at an end. He's already had, of course, a chance to win. This, though, for victory. It's a great finish, you got to say, from Tom Cousins. He was 10-7 up, he was put under all sorts of pressure, but he's taken out the match in one visit. He's the world champion in 2013. He's beaten Craig Waddingham 11-10. What a thrilling final that was.
Well, congratulations to Tom Cousins. It's well worth looking at that 8-ball again. Both players can be very proud of their efforts in what was a truly classic final. General Manager of the Imperial Hotel, Alison Gilmore, has the honour of handing over the trophy. Let's hear from our winner.
He played very well at the end, but I let him play well. I was 10-7 up and I missed the black to win 11-7, and then he's got a bit of confidence back then, and I messed up again. So yeah, I was glad to not let him have a shot in the last frame.
What was going through your mind when you're on the 8-ball for a second time?
I was glad to be on it, to be honest. Yeah, just glad to have a decent shot because I shouldn't really miss that. So.
Tom, congratulations once
Thank you
again.
very much. Cheers.
That concludes our coverage of the World 8-Ball Pool Championships here in Blackpool. We look forward to seeing you again next year. Until then, goodbye.